IT is the spice of our station. Relax Radio.
Real. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Real Talk. Yeah, we're trying to keep it real, trying to keep it 100%. Every day, all day, every day, 365, 24/7. That's right. And you got me, Nick, on board, and my buddy Kingz. That's right, DJ Kingz in the building. We're talking about a lot of things going on. And one of that we were talking about, yes, we were talking about working from home and all of that. But, taking a look at other things as well that is going on. Nurses have actually started to resign their jobs. Yeah.
Indeed.
What is going on, Kings, with that?
I mean, I believe this all started within Belfast. So looking onto the news reports and talking of how Belfast had seen a rise in nurses resigning, about, I believe, 163 or 183 along those lines. Like, that is a pretty massive number. And this will happen within the past 6 months or so. So,
wow.
I mean, you see,
for some people, be like, oh, that's not a lot. Okay, try to understand. A workforce in the hospital is not thousands in one hospital. It's just, at least, I could tell you a running hospital could run at least, a bunch of, one nurse could be handling so many things. So it's like when you lose, one nurse from the healthcare industry, right? From the healthcare sector, I'd like to say, not industry, but rather the sector. There you see when it comes to taking care of the people, the care of the people, it significantly drops because other nurses can't handle the stress because now that nurse will have to pick up the slack of the other nurse who left. And that's just going to cause massive problems. And again, I understand why they're doing it. I understand why they left. Look, when the government gives you an offer and they say, hey, listen, Kings, you worked so hard during the pandemic. You gave up your annual holidays and all of that. We are going to reward you. And we're going to give you a 1% increase on your annual wage.
Let's not forget the round of applause every Thursday. At 6 p.m., they were giving round of applauses to nurses who gave up their annual holidays as well as pretty much majority of their time to be able to stay at home for a 1% increase in their pay and a round of applause once every week.
Again, although they said 1%, right? They had to fight and make the government realize, oh, listen, 1%, what? They increased it, I think, from 1% to 3%, was it? Or something like that?
Yeah, see, this is disrespectful. This is beyond disrespectful. Honestly, with those 182 nurses that had left, that chose to resign in Northern Ireland, I believe it was in Belfast. Those 182 nurses, I don't blame them, not even in the slightest. I do not.
It's not their fault.
Exactly, because I completely understand. You have literally put your life on the line to fight against a global pandemic virus, which is affecting not just the UK, because the UK, in comparison to all the countries of the world, the UK is so small, but they are so powerful. So in comparison to the rest of the world, you were here fighting on the front lines for the UK alone. And the way in which the government rewards you is by saying, we'll give you a 1% increase in your rise and we'll make sure to give you a round of applause every single Thursday at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Just to show you that we care. Only Thursdays, only Thursdays.
That's
not any other day of the week.
Only Thursdays at 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Because for some reason, the rest of the week doesn't matter. Like, we don't know about Monday and Tuesday. We're all busy at this point, aren't we? But Thursday just makes a lot more sense.
It's in my opinion, it's just terrible. Terrible handling on the government's part. Look, why are people resigning? Why are these nurses resigning? Because we're going to talk about the pandemic, yes. But they worked very hard, right? And then, on top of that, they had to force their way. They had to go to the government and say, listen, we're going to protest if you don't give us an increase. And what is this increase about? Because of that, from 1%, I think, to 3%, they increased their annual pay. They say that, and then it's backlogged back to April. Now it's backlogged back to April. They're like, okay, we're going to push the date to April is when we're actually going to give it. I'm like, okay, wait. So now all the hard work, okay, fine. Okay, all of this aside, now you're lifting the country. You're telling people you don't have to wear masks or anything of that sort.
Yep.
How is that going? How hard it is? Imagine you as a doctor or as a nurse, you are trying to save people's lives, right? That very same people go out, not wear any sort of mask, and come back right in. How would you feel? You're like, didn't we already go over this? Like,
yeah.
what?
It's like you've all of your best efforts to go and make sure you can save the people of the UK. All of your best efforts to make sure that you can be able to just make sure everyone's protected. And for those that have suffered, you've made sure to get them back, nurse them back to health. Just to hear that all of the social distancing measures, all of the rules, all of the tightening of, all of the tiers and stuff like that, keeping 2 meters apart, wearing your mask, making sure you sanitize your hands. You'd be like, yep, by the 19th of July, get rid of it all. We're going back to normal. And now every doctor could just sit there and think, wow. So
what
all of that, like that whole year, and however many months, I believe the COVID pandemic started in March. So that whole year and 4 months gone down the bin. So it was for nothing. It was for nothing. And then on top of that, they will still sit there and see the amount of some of the repeat faces, in fact, some of the repeat faces to come back to that same hospital and say, I don't feel so well. I think I've got COVID. I don't blame a single person for resigning at all. I don't blame them at all.
And they can't even go and blame these patients. They can't go and shout at the patient, say, hey, it's your fault. Nothing like that. Because first off, you have to be keeping it professional. That's one thing about doctors.
Indeed.
I admire doctors because no matter how ugly your wound looks, they are not allowed to flinch. You get what I mean? Like, even if you are in the worst condition, in whatever sort of condition, they will not flinch. They will look at you straight in a very passive face and give you a diagnosis of how you're supposed to handle that. And that, I feel, is, it takes a lot of work. And 10 years in medical school is what, these are the things that they learn. They sacrifice and they try to take care of you. And then when you go out and about and try to do stupid stuff, like, oh yeah, we're going to go to party, we're going to dance again, get back in the club and get everyone, all crazy, up and crazy, DJ, turn the music. I mean, listen. And then there's these doctors, looking at imagine you're a doctor living in front of a club. Let's say you see the club, the very same people who got sick go back in, and you're like, wow.
It's like, none of you just don't get it, do you?
You just don't care. I would feel hurt.
Oh, of course.
Very hurt.
Of course, who wouldn't? I'd feel very hurt too, because like despite all of my best efforts, you still came back with the same problem. I don't get it. What do you want me to do now? Like, I've tried everything. I've tried everything with you. And now you come back. It's at the end of the day, it's not the patient's fault, as we said. I don't blame the patients, because at the end of the day, the patients, they just want to be able to get back to their normal lives as far as anything's concerned.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Exactly. The government, on the other hand, everybody's just listening to the government and saying the moment everything's been released, go crazy. And it's like, people have abided and said, yeah, let's go crazy. And look at what it's caused. A rise in cases, as mentioned, how many times and how many weeks prior, 70,000 pings on the NHS test and trace app, the track and trace app. And on top of that, more cases. And now we have nurses wanting to just completely leave. And do you know what? I don't blame them at all. At all. Because at the end of the day, they're only doing what's best for themselves. So it's completely understood.
Again, I really feel I feel in that point where if this keeps going on, yes, a lot of people are leaving the profession, and that's sad because
Indeed.
I mean, imagine how I would be very ashamed if I was a politician. Our doctors are leaving, our nurses are leaving the hospitals,
and the worst part is
that sounds.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, and the worst part about it is there's nothing that you can literally do about it because you haven't bothered. Yeah, because it's like you've already disrespected them enough with giving them a 1% increase in their pay rise. Like that in itself is really rude.
Whose bright idea was it? I really want to talk to that guy. Like, what idea did you come? Look, these guys did. Oh no, they just did this, so we're just gonna give them a 1% increase. I'm like, listen, you know how much work these people have done? How they had not fallen asleep. They had to be on call. They had to risk their lives, not yours. You beautiful politicians, you stay at home. You're safe with with all your vaccines and all of that. And you have the best treatment by the best doctors. But these doctors who work, They go every single day and they go and endanger their lives. You're telling me they just deserve a 1% increase? Like, come on.
I mean, if that wasn't a bigger slap in the face than just the hand claps every Thursday, then I don't know what is. But honestly,
every Thursday that claps though, that cracks me up.
Honestly, like, if that wasn't a bigger slap in the face, then I honestly don't know what is. But for those that chose to leave, those 182 nurses, I completely stand with you, and I completely understand, because it's not on. It's really not on, and the government really needs to just engage brain for a second. Realize the types of people that you're really underpaying and overworking. Because you continue to overwork these people, they won't be able to provide you with the quality services that you require to save these people. On top of that, you're not heeding towards their needs. They need the extra money. Did you know that they were still charging them for parking?
What?
Did you know that? Yeah, really? They were still charging them for parking during the whole global pandemic. There was a whole outrage about it.
Wow,
yeah.
For real? That is
still being charged for parking.
You're charging nurses and doctors for parking? Wow.
There you go.
I think, I don't know. You know what? We're going to take a quick break because I need to recuperate. I really am, I don't want to be going crazy on right now. Yeah, we'll definitely be taking a quick break, and we will be right back after this.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you've got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and